Hello everyone. I just come on to make this video. I'm not going to make it too long, but I want to show you this recording.
For a dime.
Okay, this man here is Mr. Thomas Sowell.
I would take the Fifth Avenue bus, which would be the buses.
He's talking to the Hoover Institute.
I'm going to take that child out once I edit it, so she won't be in here.
Okay, let me hit the top of it. Okay. Oh, darn it. It's these two right here. Come back. I have them muted for a reason. These people. Did I do her already? These people. I'm trying to show a little at the bottom where I would shows him. Did the same thing. First time learning about slavery.
As an adult.
These people, oh, is this the one about German? The German history. But he is going to bring that into
all these
American
people
slavery,
that you see on the side is I save it in my watch here, later.
First time I learned Mr. Sowell. You can see that at the bottom. I'm showing a little bit of
my nose is itching.
The title, you know, cultures.
You can't really see the title.
Here's another one.
So that's why I'm talking about it.
These two people. What do you notice about all the people that I'm showing you? Here's Joe Rogan. Somebody thinks Joe Rogan is going to finally say what happened to black people, which is funny. Finally introduced to Thomas Sowell. And let me keep my eye on the time.
Because I didn't want to make it too long.
Who else? Him.
Come on.
This one, he said this pissed him off. Let me get rid of the thing. This pissed me off. Facts about slavery never mentioned. Thomas Sowell.
And look at him jumping around like a fool.
Look at him.
This is all funny to him.
And these two ladies, clearly they're not even American.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's not back for the first time, I am Stella, and today I'm
the Africans and Jamaicans, and they love to do this. That migrated to this country.
I'm gonna have to chop this up. And the reason I made the video is because there are a lot of people that are making these videos, and what they're saying is, I didn't know about the truth about slavery because they didn't teach it in school. And we didn't know that slavery wasn't based on race or the color of your skin. Well, I believe that they're making these videos. You see the ages of them. This is why I really didn't show their name or their channel. I just focused on the age of the people, the race of the people, whether they're black or not. Because I made a video and I said that reparations shouldn't be given to anybody who was not born before 1990 because they did not experience racism based on slavery of having black skin. Even if you were light skinned and you were a black person from the 1600s all the way to 1990, you still experienced it. Now, Mr. Sowell wrote a book, and there was a big thing about it back in 80s. 80s or 90s, when these people making these videos weren't in America. They live in America, or if they did, their mothers and fathers migrated here from another country. And they don't know the people that were here, the people that are the descendants of the slaves that were here. We were not even considered people until 1968. I was born in 1967. So 1/3 of me was an animal on the books according to the United States Constitution. It had to be changed and codified, and they did that in 1968. So for the first year of my life, I had no equal rights. I had no liberties. I had nothing. I wasn't even considered a person. Even if I got baptized and went to church, I was not considered a person. And it was a big war in 1968. They don't call it a war in history, but this entire country, from city to city to city to city. See, this is why they keep trying to erase it, because they don't want y'all to do it, because y'all got guns now. We didn't have all these guns back then. That's what this is about. DeSantis and them taking things, and Donald Trump and all the Republicans and Democrat conservatives that are sitting back being quiet. Because, see, they agree with it too. They don't want the slavery to be known that it wasn't in the 1600s or the 1800s. No, it was in 1900s. They never changed the laws on the books. 1964, when they started killing, when did they kill? They killed Marcus Garvey. They killed Martin Luther King. They killed the two Kennedy brothers, John and Robert Kennedy. One was the president. John F. Kennedy was president. They killed Malcolm X, and they killed so many people. They killed a bunch of Jewish people, Hispanics that were walking with us, and you're gonna be surprised, but guess who else they killed? White people. We didn't see too many Asians, but those, because Asians were not considered. They were people of color, but they weren't considered black, and they weren't considered white, and they had their own deal. They, the government. Anytime I say they, I mean the government in this video. They had their own deal with the Asians, but at least they were considered a full human being. So I'm not going to drag this video out, but those people that are saying, oh my God, we found Mr. Thomas Sowell and he explained slavery to us. Mr. Thomas Sowell explained one perception, his perception of slavery. We were not allowed to go to certain schools and get an education, which is why we can only perform to a certain level. If you take the entire race and you teach us just enough to read and write and nothing else, yeah, there were some black people that were a little more privileged and they were able to obtain it. But that's not the majority of the black community. We were enslaved because of this. Our skin was dark. We were told we were monkeys. We had brains like a monkey. They finally let us go to school. And these people on this video are saying, oh, we finally found out the whole thing. It wasn't about race. It was about labor. Are you out of your goddamn cotton picking mind? So you think for the purpose of labor that we were not allowed to go to school? We were not allowed to own homes. We were not allowed to own businesses. And if we created a town with a business, it was burned down. Please, somebody explain, what does that have to do with labor? And the last thing I'm going to say is, this is why you don't deserve reparations. Now, should you get something? Because the laws that were carried on after they said we were human in 1968, after they said, okay, black people are human, let's give them some rights and let's let them work in the places of the federal government. We couldn't even work in the federal government. So if there was a company and the owner, white or whatever, was racist, and they didn't want to hire us, we didn't get hired. They literally did not hire us. There were just a few black people that they hired to let work. We have black people that were millionaires, made their own way, bought their own homes, but they had to have the cheddar. Inventors. And even they had a hand. It was all their idea, but they still had a hand in the fact that they were able to get money from the community without getting money from a loan from a bank or whatever. They were able to get community because of patents. My family got a bunch of patents, my ancestors. The government took those patents. My ancestors that were in the army, and some of them got awards and honors and recognition for it. They took what they had when they came out of the army, and they burned it down. See, this is the part that y'all are not, you're missing. So Mr. Sowell is correct. I am so glad you people are finally, and nobody stopped y'all from learning this. I see people on there, oh, whoa, they didn't tell us the truth. No, once you're an adult, Google it. Before you could Google it, you could go to any library in the United States and read about this. But what was black people doing? Shaking ass. Don't blame nobody else, because you didn't apply yourself to find out what was going on in this country. It was because of our skin. But if you got somebody in the United States Constitution where you say a race of people aren't even a people, they're part animal, it's still in the Constitution to this day. So it can't be denied. So the good thing about these people looking at Sowell is I've written them back, and I'm copying the same message because I'm not going to write it over and over again. Don't just stop at Mr. Sowell, but no one can deny that what America did to my ancestors, my grandparents, great-grandparents, my mother, who was born on a goddamn plantation in 1930. How do you think they treated her? You think they gave her rights? You think they had rights? You think I had rights? So slavery wasn't 400 years ago to people like me and to my kids. My kids are adults. They were born in the 80s. So, but the things that we experience, my grandkids will never experience. And somebody might have seen that video and said, oh, she's harsh. No, I'm not being harsh. I'm being realistic, because my grandkids can go to any school they want to that their parents can afford to send them to. We could go no school. They cut our motherfucking head off or shoot us down. So Mr. Sowell is correct. The original concept of slavery for all people of all races in any countries, because the colonies that in any country is because those kings and queens who had the power and the monarchs and can't think of the type of government it is. Dictatorship and the socialists. They that were in charge way back in, let's just go back as far as, how far back did I read? I think I read back to 1200, year 1200. They wanted additional colonies. And at the time, one guy talking about, how can you get 8,000 miles back and forth? The reason they were able to travel from what was Turtle Island or whatever name it was back then, because it wasn't even Turtle Island in 1200s. I don't know what name it was in 1200s. North America, which used to be Turtle Island, there was a passageway where you could walk. What's the name of the passageway? I can't remember some type of passageway. I can't remember it. Look it up. You could walk from Africa to Asia, to the United States, to South America and North America. With South America and North America, there was land between South America and North America. And the little islands that we're looking at didn't even exist back then. So this is how trade was done. This is how slavery, and they were fighting over those lands when they made a colony. People were already in the land. So they had to fight. They had to overtake them. They didn't have weapons like they have today. So you had to put your fist up and do what you had to do and get a club. Eventually they made guns, but back then wasn't no guns. The pictures that they're showing you in school briefly where people had guns, think about a time before guns existed. See, that's the stuff they don't teach you. So that's how people got slaves from Africa all the way to what is North America. They walked. And back then it was based on labor. Slavery was just based on labor. It is America, North America specifically, not South America. They even used to go to the West Indies. That was a trading post. So that if you were in North America and you didn't want to go all the way to Africa, just go to the West Indies. Because that was the gateway between the African continents, the Asian continent, and North America and South America. You go, well, the West Indies, South America. Go to the West Indies. Back then, that's what it was. And the names changed over time. But there was land. You could just walk. You guys need to watch National Geographic and other science shows because they explain this, that the land did not have an ocean of water. All right, I got to go because I said I wasn't going to make this video long, and I don't want to, but I just wanted to address that one thing that Mr. Sowell is pointing out and making clear to everybody is that slavery, which was originally based on labor, did not have to be based on our skin or calling us part animal. So the one-time payment of reparations, for me, if you were born in 1990 and 1991, 1992, later, you don't deserve to be paid for cash check for reparations, but you do deserve reparations because there was discrimination in hiring and education, where you could live, get in a business. I made a video about it the other day. Why we don't have these big Fortune 500 companies, why we don't have these companies that do business internationally, because there was discrimination. So you do deserve to be, and putting us in prison, and we know, get rid of those records and all that stuff. I've been to prison. I have not committed a crime, but I was telling on a judge, and I was Judge Robinson Joan Gross, Joan Robinson Gross, they made her the drug court judge. What a joke. I was telling on her because she and that squad that they used to have, the drug squad, drug enforcement squad, they were going around collecting the drug money, and they were taking the money and keeping it, violating people's rights. So my case just happened to coincide with somebody that she knew, and they made an opportunity to put me away because I'm a community activist. And that's what we were all ready to go to the state, testify against this bitch, because I don't have the information because I don't hang in the streets. But what I was somebody who constantly went to my city council meetings. So I had to figure out who to bring these people to. Once they said what they said and, showed what they showed, who do we bring these people to? Because the people in the city hall and the city council and the police department, you can't go to them with information. But she just saying, in your community, this is where me and my kids live. This is where we all live. So we wanted to get rid of the corrupt cops, and we wanted to get rid of the corrupt judge. And this is why somebody murdered her daughter, shot that motherfucker full of drugs, and threw her in the garbage can right behind the municipal court building where she was a judge. Yeah, that's what happened to her daughter. That was street justice. Her daughter had gotten, unfortunately, hooked on drugs. But your mama in there stealing drug money, and she's a judge. So I wrote it up. I wrote it to the Attorney General's office. Because with me, if you're going to bring me something, let's get it documented, show me something, and then let's go. Let's not have a judge doing this, because she's locking people up right now when she should be locked up. Being on drugs is a disease, and you should be treated for it, not locked up for it. Nobody should go to prison or jail for using drugs. Now, if you commit a crime as a result of using drugs, fine. Then you stole something, you go to jail for stealing something. That's a little petty theft. But if all you did was get caught with drugs and if all you did was get caught with drugs in your possession, you should never go to jail for that. How the fuck is sending you to jail gonna help that? Oh, you got a rock. Give him 5 years. For what? Now you're teaching them how to be a criminal. But anyway, let me get out of here. But Thomas Sowell, people in America like myself who are waiting for our reparations, which is going to come in our lifetime, because so many people died that didn't get their reparations. They took our land, they took our ancestry, they took our culture, they took our language, because people in Nigeria, you're not speaking the original language, dear hearts. You speaking a version of it, but you don't know the original tongue. So at any rate, yeah, let me go, because just Mr. Sowell's book, you don't take it as a negativity, because those people aren't entitled to reparations, and that's why they're making those videos. The white people that are saying it, they're not entitled to reparations from this country. See, every country should be paying reparations to the people that enslaved. And people, you were enslaved because you were poor. It wasn't based on your skin. They needed somebody to build the colonies. You think these towns got built by themselves? Do y'all think that? Come on, think about it when you read Mr. Sowell. He is correct, but he is only giving you a part of history. He is not going forward and giving you the rest. And Roots is not a lie. Alex Haley's Roots is not a lie. It is a story that was turned into a saga and a movie, because it was missing from our books what actually happened. So what Mr. Sowell is saying, and he's saying it about the Roots saga, that's why it was a big deal back then, because the stories in Roots literally happened. But the rest of it, how do you bring things to the public at large? Not just Black people, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Jew, Italian. How do you share our story of what happened to us? You make a movie out of it. Same thing they do today. So Mr. Sowell can't discredit Mr. Haley. He can't discredit him. So, all right, I got to go. Chop up this thing. Have a good day. Knowledge is power.